So I'm Jacob. I'm one of the managers here at Live Grit. We're the title sponsor of the First Timers program in conjunction with Chicago Triathlon. And I cannot tell you how excited we are to have you guys all here. We did this program for the first time last year, and we loved it. I think Chicago Triathlon is the best race in the world. I think Chicago is one of the best cities in the world. So you guys are going to have a great experience. Thank you so much for being a part of this adventure with us and letting us be a part of your adventure. Gillian, the owner of the store, is floating around somewhere in the back. She'll wave to you later. She started the store. That's Gillian. She just waved. She started this store 2 years ago because she herself became a triathlete and didn't find anywhere she felt comfortable. Nowhere to call home, nowhere to find other athletes. So she started her own store and gave me a job and the rest of us jobs. So we're super thankful for that. It's been 2 years now. April 26th was our 2-year anniversary. And like I said, this is the second year for the First Timers program. Today's clinic is going to be a little bit longer because we want to introduce ourselves. We want to introduce the coaches, the representatives from Chicago Triathlon, all that. We're going to get all your questions answered. It's a really long summer. We have some great events. We have some great adventures to go on together. We'll get everything done along the way. So it is super laid back. We used to have the tagline, the laid back triathlon store. Get up, grab a beer. You get tired of sitting, get up, walk away from me. I won't get offended. We are going to answer a lot of questions today. We have a couple of really cool guests here tonight to answer your questions specifically, and we're going to go from there. So with that being said, I'm just going to introduce some people at a distance, and you're going to get to meet them one-on-one later. First, Rosalind. She is one of our head coaches with the program, amongst other people. Who else is here with you, Rosalind?
Mary Pico.
There we go.
Jay Silver, Dave Petig, and Scott Hootie Mocker all the way in the back there.
All right. So those guys are going to be your coaching experts along the way. We have coaches on staff as well. They'll be at a lot of the events you do. Towards the end of the clinic, we're going to split you guys apart and let you talk to the coaches versus the gear experts and things like that. We all know a lot about everything, though. So if you have a question that needs to get to Rosalind and you ask me, I'll make sure it gets to her and vice versa. If you ask a question to her that needs to get to me, she'll get it to me. So, and then Hootie, raise your hand. His name's Scott Hootmacher, but don't ever call him either of those names, just Hootie. And Dan Lakin's back there as well. They both work with Lifetime Athletic Events, who put on the Chicago Triathlon. They help us out quite a bit, help you guys out a whole bunch on race weekend as well. So any race questions that we can't answer, they certainly will be able to. And then our staff here in the store, we all met Gillian earlier. She's in the back there. Sabin was the gentleman with the iPad that everybody checked in with. Jeff's running around somewhere in a marathon shirt, and Rashawn is the gentleman with the ponytail. We have a couple other team members who aren't here tonight, but we're all on staff, so if you have any gear questions, you'll be able to ask us. Hootie forgot the name tag, so you're not going to remember anybody's name. But if they're wearing a Live Grit shirt or one of the Lifetime shirts or a Chicago Tri shirt, just start asking questions. You're going to see through this entire process there's no such thing as a dumb question. We've heard them all. We've probably heard way crazier. Do not be afraid to ask us your questions, guys. These coaches had them when they started. We all had them as athletes when we started. We know you have them. We know it's not innate information. You got to get used to it. So please, please, please ask questions along the way. This is one of 6 clinics we're going to do throughout the summertime. This one's going to focus on just the swim, which all of you are probably deathly afraid of right now. Open water swimming. It's a lot of fun, I promise. This one's going to focus on the swim, but we're going to talk about triathlon in a big picture as well along the way. So, does anybody have any huge questions about who works here again? Who's who? Names, things? Cool. Awesome. Let's get going then. And the technology works. Very cool. So Triathlon Basics. Each one of our presentations start with the basics of triathlon. We realize it's not inherent information we need to teach everyone. The learn level, what we need to know, basic information. Every triathlon consists of swim, bike, and run. In that order. You can't choose your own adventure. You got to do it in that order. And distances vary. For Chicago Triathlon, they have 3 distances. The Super Sprint Saturday morning. Well, 4 distances. They have the kids race Saturday morning. The Super Sprint Saturday as well. Then they have the Sprint and the International distance on Sunday. A lot of you have been doing research. International and Olympic are somewhat synonymous, and the international distance, the sprint distance, and the Super Sprint distance aren't like regulated in their distance assignments. They could be varying from race to race. For Chicago Triathlon, the Sprint is going to be half-mile swim, 20-mile bike, 5K run. For the International, we're going to do just under a mile swim, we're going to do a 40K bike, and a 10K run. The coaches are looking at me like I'm wrong.
15-mile bike.
Yeah.
Damn. So close. So close. So yeah, 15-mile bike. But we do swim, bike, and run in that order. Transitions, T1 and T2, from swim to bike and from bike to run. It's all done in the same spot, but it's done very differently. We'll get into that a little bit today. The fourth clinic in our series is entirely on transitions. We call it the fourth sport. It needs to be practiced. It needs to be done ahead of time, and we'll go forward from there. Waves, this is what Chicago Triathlon starts in. There's 150 athletes or so in each wave. You guys are all going to be with other first-timers, and you're actually going to see a video of the wave start today. So you'll have no questions on what the swim's like. Age groups, if at any point you want out of the first-timers program, you said, I'm going to go win this thing. I don't want to race with these guys. We'll put you in your age group. USAT goes in 5-year increments, I think, for the most part. So you would race with people grouped by age, whereas you guys will be grouped by other first-timers. Train, this is where our store is the expert. We're going to talk about the gear, a little bit about nutrition, which we sell here, and then the community, which we have provided as a retail location. That's secrets out. That's the main reason we like to exist, is the community. We have a lot of great events for you guys and a lot of really fun stuff to do. The gear is just what we have to hang on the wall to pay the bills and go and enjoy the community. So we're going to cover all of that. The coaches here, Hootie's taking pictures from the outside. The coaches here are going to talk about training and race day details. Some of the coaches on staff here work for the Lifetime Health Clubs out in the suburbs, so if you're there, you can join one of those clubs. Here in Chicago, there's a bunch of great clubs. We have Grit Endurance, which offers training and coaching as well. And you're always encouraged to sign up with them, give yourself a little bit more structure, and give you the ability to work out with other people. So we're going to split into 2 groups at one point tonight, and you'll be able to ask the coaches about training and some of the race day stuff. And you'll be able to ask our team here in the store about gear, nutrition, and the events that we run as well. Any big questions on this stuff, guys? This part here, race day details, we're going to answer those questions all summer long. There are some questions we don't have the answers to. We're going to have to wait until the race gets a little bit closer. So don't get too hung up on what race day is going to be like. We're going to go through a quick photo rundown of what that's going to be. But those details will come out closer to race day. Right now, we're going to focus on swim, bike, and run, respectively. Today, swimming. Any big questions on this stuff, guys? You gotta, our general rule, you gotta introduce yourself. I gotta start remembering names.
Oh my gosh. My name is B.
B.
With the swim, is there a time limitation before you're disqualified?
Starting off with a tough question, B. I like it. I like it. This exact same question got asked 2 weeks ago at our gear swap clinic, and it was tough then. And I'll do the same thing that I did then. We are very, very honest with you guys. We pride ourselves on being an honest store, and we'll never lie to you. There isn't a time cutoff on the swim. What Chicago Triathlon has is the time cutoff on Lakeshore Drive. They have to reopen that road. It's very, very critical they get that road open. Last year, we put the First Timers program at the end of the race. You guys were the last people besides the triple challenge people to get in the water. And we had 6 did not finishes. We had 6 people not be able to complete the race because by the time you get out of the water, the race directors can realize, unless you're Lance Armstrong, you're not going to make it off the bike in the time we have to open that road. We took that very, very harshly. We didn't like that. Chicago Triathlon didn't like that. You guys signed up to do your first ever triathlon. We're here to make sure you do that. That time constraint, we couldn't do the math. We didn't foresee that coming. So we took that very personally. That's not going to happen. All of you are going to finish the race. So the swim does not have a time cutoff. Lakeshore Drive has to be reopened. And we'll make sure we all get through the water this year. We're all going to finish this year. Any other big questions? That was like the toughest question in the room. So, yeah, go ahead.
I'm Hannah.
Perfect.
Well, how do you know that it won't happen this year?
Second toughest question.
We're not going to go in the end.
We can address that.
Yeah.
So some of you guys, there may be a couple of those athletes in this room who didn't finish last year. No need to raise your hands or whatnot, but to Jacob's point, we space the waves out so everyone separates when they're out there theoretically, right? We go by age groups, we go by gender, and you know historically how those groups perform relative to others. As an athlete, when you guys are out there experiencing the race, we want you to have as much clean course as possible. And that includes the water and the bike, and kind of the run, I guess, but you know, it's more detrimental to have a crowded swim course or a crowded bike course, which could lead to some bad things, right? So by putting the first timers who were the newbies at the end of one of the waves last year, We ran into a situation where the park district made us clear the water a little bit earlier than we had planned. Had no control over the matter. This year, we're not going to start you guys dead last. That's basically the easy answer.
Yeah.
So we know that. And the other side is we had a couple of swimmers, not so much in the first timers wave, but outside of the first timers group, who were in the water for upwards of 2.5 hours. So
Diehards.
well,
Really got the money's worth out of that swim. Really got the money's worth.
that just reiterates the fact that this is a fun sport, but you've got to do your due diligence. You've got to show up to training. You've got to get ready for it. You can't just show up like a 5K because it's not triathlon. So not to scare anybody.
You guys got about 120 days, I think, last count, give or take. If you hang out with us, if you hang out with these guys, race day is going to be the best day of the summer, guaranteed. So do what we do, go where we tell you to go, and we'll have a lot of fun come August. All right, we're going to keep moving forward. Before I jump too far ahead, so Hootie and Dan are the representatives of Chicago Triathlon. They have all the race day detail answers that we might not have. What you guys need to realize and what we proved last year is that Chicago Triathlon is like the greatest triathlon in the world. And I'm not saying that because these guys are here. It holds a very special place to our entire team's heart. It's a great race. Most of these coaches have probably raced it. Most of our staff has raced it. It's a phenomenal race. It's also the world's largest triathlon. 7,000 athletes, give or take, come Sunday morning. They are the best in the business when it comes to organization, when it comes to the race day itself. So you guys are going to be spoiled with this race. We went down to Miami, which is another lifetime event, and it was great. It was beautiful, but was no Chicago. So you guys are going to have a great time all summer with the events they put on and then the race day itself. Technology, yes. So today this is our course map. We're going to go through the shark question, common questions that you guys all have. We're going to make sure that you ask questions, get the social wheels turning. We're going to talk about a Speedo fitting, which I didn't know this until last year. Speedo's not a cut of swimsuit. It's a brand. We actually don't sell Speedo. We do Orca and Blue 70, who I totally skipped over. Sean, raise your hand in the back. That's Sean. He is our Blue 70 rep. Blue 70 is one of the best open water swim companies in the world. You're going to see his face next to my face with Gillian's face down at the lake all summer long. Blue 70 is great. We sell their wetsuits and their goggles here in store. And they do a lot of really, really good open water swim stuff. They are, Sean, stop me if I'm wrong, an open water swim company. They're not just a swim company. They're not just a triathlon company. They are an open water swim company. So for Lake Michigan and anybody who wants to swim in Miami, they make some great products as well. So he's going to be here to answer some very specific gear questions along the way as well. We're going to talk about the taste of the lake, which last year wasn't so bad. It tasted all right. We'll talk about nutrition, pre and post workout in the swim. Obviously not much nutrition in the swim unless you find that Corona bottle bobbing in the harbor. We'll talk about swim buddies. It's always more fun in a group. Talk about some of the events we do, some of the stuff Lifetime does. And then lastly, how not to drown, which I realize is a very morbid way to put that. How to have fun in the swim. Talking about a little bit more about training and stuff like that. So that's where this presentation is going to go. First, though, we're going to take a really jumpy race day preview through the swim course. So this is media. All this media is from our First Timers program last year. These are real people. This is Tom Fisk. If you come into the store, his dog Stella will be in, having a treat, I'm sure. All of these people did their first triathlon last year with us, and a lot of them are still around. So a testament to the program and how much fun it is. They're all still alive. They're all still alive. Some of them still hang out with us, too. So race day morning, and again, details on race day. When do I rack my bike? When do I do this, that, and the other thing? That's all. We have a whole clinic on that. You'll have to go to a course talk. We'll have one here in the store. We'll have them down at the expo. That's when you ask the timeline of everything. I'm going to give you what it looks like. So after everybody gets out of transition, you're going to have a little bit of time between transition close when you get rid of everything and all you have is your superhero outfit and the race starts. So we'll hang out. Last year we had the Live Grit feed zone on Queen's Landing there by Buckingham Fountain. We'll have something similar again this year. But you guys will have the First Timers program to hang out with. Spend some time. You do get a clear bag to leave your last minute items. If you wear glasses, you wear them and put them in the bag, give them to the race. They'll get them back to you at the end of the race, things like that. Once we're done hanging out, we're going to go ahead and get into the swim corral, this black fence that runs parallel to the swim course. This is the swim start entrance. From there down, only the coaches, myself, and you guys, the athletes, will be allowed in there. Your spectators will be mere inches away on the other side of the fence cheering you on. You're going to be in this corral 10, 15 minutes maybe before your swim start. You're going to see in this next photo here, You're going to get in line by your wave. So your wave or your age group. With us, it'll be the first timers group male. Wave 51 green caps was first timers female, I believe. And you'll get behind the sign. The coaches will be walking around helping you get everything ready to go. You'll, again, be in there 10, 15 minutes, having a good time. Sarah, Gurnit, Aaron, they were all in the first timers program. Had a lot of fun last year. We'll help you get your wetsuit shut, get those last minute details done. We'll be there. The coaches were there last year. It's a really, I don't want to say high stress time, but that's when the excitement starts to build. You're in line. You see swimmers in the water. You hear the crowd going. The announcers are going the whole time. Everything starts to get lifted at that point, and that's why we're there to help you get ready. Somebody always has great signs, and we got that one last year. His next sign says, "Don't fart in your wetsuit," to get back at it, and then he has something about like coffee and eggs. This is the swim start. You see the crowd, the purple caps right here are women like 59 or 60 to 65 or something. They're taking a left turn hard into the water, which looks like this. So this is Monroe Harbor. It's normally filled with boats. This is the only time of the year, this is the only thing that allows people to swim here. You'll never be able to swim the course before or after other than during Chicago Triathlon. Gentlemen over at Lifetime Athletic Events are nice enough to build us a set of steps in. One of the most common questions we get, will you be able to touch? Never. It's 15 to 20 feet deep, give or take. Will we have to tread water before we begin? Yeah, 90 seconds or so. You're going to see a video of it here in a second. But everyone's going to get down on these steps. If you're the international distance, you're going to get in, turn right, swim a ways, make a U-turn, come back up, join one-way traffic right here. If you're the sprint distance, you're going to get in, hang a left, swim a ways, and then hang a left again, and you get out. And there's this exact same set of steps at the exit to help you get out of it. You'll hang out, you'll get in the water with all your friends, jump into the water with all the fellow first-timers. You're going to hang out for a bit. There's a big buoy over here that you can't see. This is an international wave because you see swimmers are going northbound. These swimmers are going to start southbound and then come back north for the longer distance course. This is looking south. Everybody's coming towards me. Excuse the terrible Instagram filter. It doesn't look like all the other pictures. This is coming northbound. So one of the coolest aspects of Chicago Triathlon, or I'm going to say that all summer, one of the best things about it, everything's the best about it, is the entire swim course is spectator friendly. These people are actually sitting down on the seawall there. When we put our first timers into the water, we walked along the wall with them swimming. We could speak to them, they could hear us, and then we got to swim exit. So your family will be able to see the entire swim course. The bike course has some really cool viewpoints as well, and the run course is also very spectator friendly. So for friends and family, I would hate to know what the number is of people who come down just to watch, probably double or triple. The swim is a great thing. They can watch you start to finish. They can see the entire thing. You get towards the end of your swim. Oh, here's a very common question. Why did it take someone 2.5 hours to do the swim? USAT rules allow you to stop at any point so long as you don't propel yourself forward. The guys over at Chicago Triathlon are so good that they realized that motorboats were polluting the water and made it uncomfortable for swimmers to be in. So I think last year it was just the fire department and park district that was in those motorboats. Otherwise, they have these guys here in rowboats. They have stand-up paddle boarders. They have lifeguards on the wall and on the far side of the water as well. If at any point you get in trouble, you're more than welcome to swim up to a kayak, a canoe, one of these boats, and hang on for a second. People in them are pretty friendly. They're not going to instantly disqualify you from the race and yank you out. If you ask for help, they'll do that, certainly. But you're more than welcome to stop and catch your breath. You'll see here on the next slide, you can grab onto the wall. Personal recommendation is go for the boats. The wall is barnacly and disgusting and greasy like a lot of things are. Plus, then I could take a picture this close of you. That's Stacy. He was one of our athletes last year. And I said, Stacy, stop. Let's go. He needed some encouragement. So go for the boats out near the middle. It's a lot easier and a lot calmer water. And my favorite, the backstroke. If at any point you need, it is a race, I guess technically, because it's timed the whole time. But take your time. You'll see through open water swim stuff that we do. The biggest thing, and it happens to athletes at every level, at every distance, at every ability, you're going to lose your breath. It's against human nature to put our face in water for an extended period of time. So your body's screaming at you to get vertical and get out of the water, and you have to fight that screaming and then calm down at different times through backstroke, side stroke, grab the wall, grab a boat, whatever it is that you find will calm yourself down. That's what you need to do. Here's the secret to open water swimming. Is everybody ready? This is the secret. Just don't freak out. Just don't freak out. When you get yourself all worked up, that's what ends your day. Gillian has a story of it. I have a story of it. Rashawn has a story of it. You get into the open water, you get into your head, the wetsuit's snug, there's other people for the first time, you start getting all worked up. You convince yourself that you can't do it. No matter how many times you swim that distance in training, you've convinced yourself that this isn't going to work this time, and you disqualify yourself. You do the open water swims with Lifetime, you do our open water swims, you'll be just fine. Yeah, go ahead, Rosalind.
So I know the swim is the one sport that usually holds the most people back from clicking register. Also know for those boats, there is no limit, like how many boats you can hang on. I have seen people go boat to boat,
Yep,
to boat to
yep.
boat to boat. It works. Not speedy, but it works.
Yeah.
So that like gives you some sort of calmness that you can swim boat to boat, rethink it, go to the next boat, say hi, go to the next boat. You will make it to the swim finish.
You will make it. You will absolutely make it. We'll talk a lot about the open water swim. This is the presentation to show you what it's all like, so all the questions that you didn't think you have, you'll come up with. And we'll go from there. This is swim exit. These guys have some of the best volunteers in the world, literally standing knee deep in water, reaching down and picking you up out of the water onto the steps. It's weird to go from swimming to standing. Even on the beach, it's really a little wonky. So getting onto the steps, they're carpeted, they have hand railings, there's volunteers there. Everything is designed to make this easier for you. These guys come from a triathlon background. They're not just greedy monster race directors. They're really, really intelligent when it comes to the triathlon end of things. I'm clearly working very hard in this photo. I didn't realize that when I put it up yesterday. I'm waiting for the first timer, so let's say that. But getting out of the water here, you'll get going. Some of us will be there, help you out of the water, unzip your wetsuits. I unzippered Stacy's wetsuit, which zippers from like the collarbone down to the lower back. And for like 2 weeks, he couldn't realize how his wetsuit got unzipped until he saw this picture. He thought he swam with it open the whole way. And then from swim exit, you have just under a quarter mile walk, run, jog, whatever you want to do. We raced in Miami a couple months ago, and I ran for like the first 10 feet and then walked the rest of the way. It's a little discombobulating to get out of the water. Quarter mile, it's on this very plush, this year, red carpeting. They're rolling out the red carpet for you. You will not leave shoes by the side of the swim exit. There used to be like 1,000 pairs of shoes out there. Nobody ever found their shoes. This is plenty. Once it gets wet, it's even softer, so you'll be fine. You don't need shoes or anything. This woman picked the world's worst day to go for a lakefront jog. Poor lady got stuck in the triathlon melee. But a quarter mile jog or walk down to transition, then you're in transition 1. That's the end of our photo presentation because it's another clinic when we get to transition 1. So any questions on what the swim looks like? Any real big picture questions on the swim? Oh, wait, here we go. This is the swim start, so everyone knows it's not pure chaos. This is the International First Timers Athletes last year. That's not 2 horns, the sound's off between the TV and the computer. So these are international, they're going south. Dave Kappas is saying you'll never again be able to say it's your first time. I almost cried here and then had to go get the sprint distance athletes. So it's a very, very fun weekend for us. So not pure chaos. Yes, Hannah?
Why is it even swimming with their head up?
Good question. So at the beginning of a swim start, this is probably what stops people from doing triathlons here, is the massive swim start. Personally, when I do massive swim starts, I'm not winning no matter what. So I'm going to let the people who want to win get forward. I can't speak to it because it doesn't happen to me. I'm so big. But getting swam over or getting swam on top of is really, really scary. Like just in principle, it scares me. So swimming with your head up stops that from happening. You can see the people around you get going. Like Hootie said, the entire race is designed to kind of spread everybody out along the way. So if you're a good swimmer, you get to the front of the first timers pack. As soon as that horn goes, you're gone. If you're not so good of a swimmer, hang out in the back. You can tread water. No one forces you to start. You have to start before the next wave, which is like 3 minutes later. Let people get ahead of you and then start swimming with your head up. Once you get into a rhythm, you can put your head in and get going from there. Yeah, go ahead. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Anne.
Anne.
How long are people typically on this?
It really varies. We had athletes at the sprint distance get out like under 30 minutes last year, a former high school swimmer, and we had other people in the water for 90 minutes. The sprint is going to be just under a half mile. If you go in a pool, good luck on that math. That's a lot of laps. If you come out to the lake with us at any point, 16 laps. Bicycles, man. I do triathlons, not math. If you come out to the lake with us throughout the summertime, there's a stoplight in back is how far it is. So you can pretty quickly get a gauge, an hour-ish for the sprint, give or take a half hour, I guess. Hootie, do you have a better answer?
An hour for the sprint swim?
We had athletes at an hour.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the middle of the bell curve on a sprint, I would say, is 15 minutes to 30 minutes, somewhere in there, and then double that for the Olympic swim, so 30 to 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably a good ballpark.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
I have a question about the timing. So does the timer start when the horn goes off?
Yeah, great question.
Where does it
Yeah,
stop?
great question. Not something I covered in the Triathlon Basics, which is a very basic question to ask. So the time for the swim starts when the horn goes. So you guys are all going to cross a big timing map, and it scans you all into the computer system. And then when the horn goes, they hit start. Throughout the course, so triathlon is a cumulatively timed sport. It never stops until you cross the finish line. Throughout the course, though, there are timing mats that you have to cross over, A, so you don't cheat, and B, so they know where you are on the course. So when you get out of the swim, you'll cross another one that says you're out of the swim. When you go out of transition, you'll cross another one that says you've started the bike, so on and so forth. And that'll allow you to time yourself, and that's where like family members can track you on Lifetime's application, on the website, things like that. And those are your splits along the way. Yeah.
I'm Amanda too.
Oh, convenient.
Timing-wise,
Yeah.
I mean, usually when you're running or biking, you have a bib that has like a chronos.
Yeah.
What do you have when you're swimming? That
You got like a house arrest ankle bracelet.
Oh.
Yeah. They're going to give you the timing chip and a band to use. You have to Velcro it on your ankle. If you wear a wetsuit, which I'm going to encourage everybody to do that in just a minute, it'll stay on your ankle when you take it off and you put a pair of socks on. I wore mine under my socks on accident, but it's on your ankle. It's a chrono chip on your ankle. Yeah, great question. Great question. Any other big questions right now? So today's going to work a little bit differently. We're going to get through this presentation and then split into groups to ask these one-on-one questions. I realize this size group, it could be intimidating just to ask a question, so kudos. Keep asking them as they come up. Raise your hand or yell, "Hey, idiot," at some point, and I'll stop along the way, and you guys can ask those questions. We're going to get into some gear-specific stuff here. Again, one of the main reasons we exist as a retail location. So at the very minimum, you're going to need some sort of suit and some sort of goggles. The gentleman or the family over at Lifetime are nice enough to give you a swim cap that you have to wear. Through training, if you have long hair that you don't want in your face, a swim cap would also go under the necessary evils. Triathlon shorts are a great thing because they're designed to be swam, bike, and ran in as well. That's what you'll probably wear on race day. Transition is an open air transition. You are open to the public, no nudity, please. And the time it takes to go find the porta potty and wait in line to change your shorts just isn't worth it. So triathlon shorts, during the course of the summertime, I swim in my triathlon shorts almost every weekend. When I'm in the pool, I put on a jammer or a pool-specific training suit and then a pair of goggles. Everything we sell here is open water goggle, a little bit larger suction surface, grabs onto your skeletal structure. It doesn't just sit on your eye sockets. Wider peripheral vision. Some of ours are polarized, some of ours are tinted. It's got better visible clarity so it doesn't get distorted. So as you're looking as to where you're swimming, you can see it. And goggles are $20 to $30, so you'll grab a couple pairs throughout the course of the season. You'll lose yours in the bag or something like that. The train level or the mid-level of equipment, the stuff we highly recommend to make the experience more enjoyable. Wetsuits, which just is its own presentation. The rest of the staff and myself can get into a fight over if you need a wetsuit or not. A cap again, and then a race suit, that one-piece or two-piece suit for triathlons. And then the next level stuff, we talk about training. Snorkels, you are allowed to use a snorkel. It's a center mount snorkel. There was actually 2 in that video that I showed you. So if breathing is your biggest problem, you're more than welcome to use a snorkel if you'd like. We use them in the pool all the time. Kickboard is what you see at the pool where you put your hands on it and just use your legs. You're isolating different parts of the stroke. Paddles are those big things that go on your hand and make it harder to pull through the water to build up just arm muscles. Buoys are something you would put in between your legs, again, to isolate just your arms or your upper body because then your legs will float. And then fins, what you put on your feet to isolate, again, a leg exercise, so it's harder to kick through the water, thus building your leg strength. This is one of those snorkels. It's center mount, so you don't, when you rotate your body, it doesn't move in the water, and then you never have to pick your head up to breathe. Makes sighting a lot harder, though. You can't look up so easily with a snorkel. Besides wetsuits, any questions on the gear? What you need, what you don't need, what you have if you need it?
I noticed that some people had the socks on.
Yeah.
Recommended.
So last year, the lake got like 15 degrees colder 5 days before the race. Everybody asks, does it ever get too warm to wear a wetsuit? I don't think it ever has been too warm. Last year, it got close, and then it dropped down to like uncomfortably cold again. If you are a very cold person, if it does get colder that weekend, the booties are great. They also make it a little bit easier to walk in. And then they also make neoprene caps as well, warmer caps. If you get like brain freezes whenever the water's cold, that's recommended. For training, they also make gloves, but you can't race in those because they're usually webbed and they would create an illegal advantage. Stacy, one of the gentleman that was holding on the wall there, he also showed us by example that if you put Vaseline on your face, it makes the cold water less abrasive. But yeah, those booties are advantageous if you don't like cold water. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Aisha.
Aisha.
And so you said it can get too warm for the wetsuit. Is that like regulation too warm or just uncomfortable too warm?
So there's both. It gets uncomfortable too warm, where USAT says like, we recommend you not doing it. And then they do have a hard, I think it's 78 degrees is like 84. No wetsuits allowed. Yeah, it never happens in Chicago. Never. We were down in Miami a couple weeks ago, and it got to the point where like we recommend not doing it. It's a little warm, and our athletes half did, half didn't. But it will never get to too hot. And watch, it's going to get hot this year or something. It will most likely never get too hot. All right, let's jump into wetsuits here. Wetsuits are a very debatable topic for most people. Sean, again, has a firm stance and a professional longevity on everybody getting wetsuits as well. I'm in that same camp. I think everybody should get wetsuits. It's, as Hootie puts it, legal cheating. It makes it easier to swim. You become more buoyant. It's faster through the water because the material is hydrophobic and designed in different ways to cut through the water. And it's safer. Oh, I thought that was me. You cannot get to the bottom of the lake in a wetsuit. It's too buoyant. And it's also buoyant in areas that the body's not. Did I just get like, hey Siri going?
Siri just said if you say so.
Yeah, oh yeah. Siri thinks you should wear wetsuits. So wetsuits are a great educational experience. That's why we brought Sean on. All of our staff is trained in it as well. We'll get into this more when we get on separate sides. Again, Sean will have all the answers for you. I highly encourage wetsuits. It makes you faster. You're going to float better than you normally do. People have the tendency to sink towards our feet, and you kind of barge through the water. It's a lot harder to pull this through the water. A wetsuit's really buoyant from like the waist down, and it floats you this way, more on top of the water. I feel safer in my suit, like nothing could sink me. We have fun and try and dive to the bottom of the lake in the wetsuit. You cannot do it. We're not making that up. And then I just love my wetsuit. I want to keep it for 5 to 7 years. They are a bit of an investment. They start at about $240 or so and go up from there. If you take care of it, it's going to last 5 to 7 years if you treat it the right way. Plus, and Gillian's going to be so happy I plugged this, you can come to our wetsuit formal next year. We have a party every winter, this last winter, where we encourage wetsuits to be worn with ties and fancy shirts. And it was a lot of fun, I hear. I was out of town, but these guys had a great time. And this is one of many pictures. Let's not cut Tim out of it. There you go. Wear a tie and your goggles. So we had a lot of fun with it. Some really common myths about wetsuits. I'm a bad swimmer, so I must need the most expensive wetsuit. In fact, the opposite's true. The worse swimmer you are, the lesser wetsuit you sometimes need. It's more buoyant, it's thicker. The really expensive wetsuits are really thin in different parts and more comfortable for elite level swimmers. I would say for most people that $200 to $400 range is perfect. That's where a lot of athletes find their comfortable spot. This one we've been fighting for years. I can't move my arms with the sleeves. 5 years ago, the rubber that a wetsuit's made out of, called Yamamoto rubber, was really thick and kind of unmanageable, and so a swimmer couldn't get their arm all the way over the top. That's an old wives' tale at this point. The rubber in these suits is phenomenal. The best swimmers in the world wear these, so you'll be able to move your arms if you're in the right fit of a wetsuit. And that the idea of a sleeveless suit, it's colder and it's less efficient. Companies, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, companies are starting to make them less and less. There's less offerings of that. We have them just in case you need them, if it's really just set in stone, but we recommend, and we sell like 5-to-1 full sleeve suits. We also rent suits all summer, so we'll get to that in a second. The suit was super easy to put on. It must be the right size. It sucks to put a wetsuit on land. Our suits are called wetsuits because they let water in, so the suit fits differently once you're in the water. Putting it on land will turn the AC all the way up because you're going to break a sweat, and it's not going to be fun, but that means the wetsuit fits right. And then I found the same thing online for $100. This is one of the only times we're going to tell you that what you're seeing online is not the same. It's made out of a different rubber. A lot of our companies sell online, we understand that, but the wetsuits you find online aren't made of the same material that our wetsuits are made out of, hence the price difference. A $100 wetsuit's great, and then like towards the end of the year, the arm's going to rip off or something like that. So it is just a drastically different product. We understand it's a bit of an investment. We have ways of getting around that by renting them first and things like that, but it's not the same as what's seen online. Any questions on wetsuits now, guys? If you have any big ones, wait until Sean's here. He'll be over there. Yeah.
When you said that it sucks to put them on land.
Yeah.
That's the only option, right?
Yeah, you can't put them on in the water. Yeah, you got to put them on land. We're going to have our Saturday morning swim starting up May 21st, and we'll have a group of people awkwardly struggling to put their wetsuits on. Even the best athletes in the world struggle to get them on land. There's tricks and tips on ways to do it that make it a lot easier.
Like psychological nerves, you feel like claustrophobics.
Get in the water as quick as you can. We leave them like unzippered. We have people that deal with that. So you can get the wetsuit like up to your hips, and there's no constriction to breathe in at that point because the wetsuit's still folded over. Get in the water and let water into the suit, and that'll start to like sit it differently. Before you get your arms or your torso wet, you'll be able to get the suit the rest of the way on and zipper it up, and the water will instantly be in the suit, so it won't constrict you so tight. Sean's got something to add to it.
Quick comment on putting on your wetsuit. People always ask, oh, it takes me forever to put on a wetsuit. You're not taking time to put on your wetsuit.
Yeah.
It's not part of the race, so don't worry about it. Take your time putting it on. That's when
Anybody want beer?
aren't taking their time putting it on, trying to get it in as quick as they can.
there you go.
When you notice rubber, neoprene, it can be nicked really easily. Even men,
There you go, perfect.
their fingernails are small. I've seen it nicked. So that's why we always recommend take the time. Make sure you're getting everything fitting properly. You're going to have a better swim because of it. And then, you're being time to take it off. And there's tips that we can go through there about getting the wetsuits off.
And getting it off is like a tenth. It's 10 times quicker to get it off than it is to get it on. The only hard part is putting it on. Taking it off and swimming in is a lot easier. So, and again, we'll cover all that once we break apart here, hopefully soon if I can hurry up through this. And we can answer, myself, Gillian, Rashawn, Sean will all be floating around. The coaches and Hootie and all them will have the same answers. We just do it every day for a living, so we might be able to answer it a slight bit better. Is technology done working now? All right. Back to the old keyboard. So any questions on gear before we move past it? All right. Last couple of slides before we break apart here, guys. Chews, brews, and shots. These are all names of nutrition on the other side or really good restaurants around Chicago. So this is what we talk about when it comes to nutrition. It's super important to fuel yourself ahead of time. Now, we're going to preface this, and the coaches are going to say the same thing throughout it. I don't believe any of our coaches are registered dietitians or nutritionists or doctors. So none of us are doctors or dietitians or nutritionists. If you have a specific issue, if your body's diabetic or something like that and you need to see a doctor, go see a doctor. They're the professionals. We can give you recommendations as to what works for us, what works for most of the athletes that we run into. And the biggest piece of advice we can give you is to practice it throughout. This phrase right here, train what you race and race what you train. That's going to hold true for equipment, for fitness levels, for nutrition, everything. You should do nothing new on August 28th? My brain just froze for a second there. Yeah, August 28th. Nothing new happens that day. We should have practiced everything by then. Swimming is an extremely makes you hungry sport. Has anybody swam in the pool? I mean, do you go home and just eat the whole kitchen like I do? Like we have swim club from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock on Monday nights, and they come home and it's like you destroy the kitchen because you're so hungry. So it's a really exhausting sport, so we need to fuel ahead of time and then after. So we talk about training. When you go to the gym or go to the health club just to swim, Get something in your body beforehand. Most people are going to do it either really early in the morning or really late at night before or after work. Make sure you get some solid foods in your body in the morning, cup of oatmeal, something like that. And then afterwards, if you haven't had anything since lunch at work, make sure you get something solid, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich half hour before, something small in your body so that while you're swimming, you don't have a growl in your stomach. In the pool, it's nice because you can put food on the side of the pool. You can put a goo energy gel or some of those shot blocks or something at the edge of the pool and eat it if you get hungry. In the water or out in the open water, you don't really have that trick. I've seen people like stuff goos in the sleeves of their wetsuits, and what are you going to stop and eat it along the way? No one ever does it. And same thing in training beachside. If we do go out in the open water, you need to have something pretty instantly after you get out of the water. As a general rule, for anybody who's new to like exercise and fitness as a whole, you have 30 minutes after exercise to try and get solid food back in your body. I can't make it 30 minutes without nothing, so I'll eat the goos or the gels or a protein shake or something like that. But you have a 30-minute window to put solid food back in to start the recovery process. So plan for that. If you come down the lake, throw a sandwich in your bag. No one steals sandwiches out of bags at the lake, so get some solid food back in you. On race day, we're going to have something beforehand. These guys with the race are nice enough to provide you with like bananas and chips and water and Gatorade or whatever the drink is of choice. You won't be able to have anything during the race. It's just not intelligent. And then in transition, that's where you'll have your extra goos. It's usually easier for people to eat on the bike or on the run, but throughout the race, you'll also want to fuel. So again, our team on the other side will have some questions. The coaches are a great source of information for this, and we're all going to tell you the same thing, like, here's what works for me, give it a shot, see what works for you, give it through the course of the summer to practice. Any huge questions on nutrition? Cool. We have 2 more slides, and then we're going to break apart, so sorry for those standing if your legs are getting tired. So the buddy system is what we call it, group activities. This first one's over. It just ended last week. I didn't update my presentation. We do have swim club throughout the fall and winter. That is a pool space. Rashawn was our head coach this year. Gillian was another head coach and tested the athletes through the water when it came to form and endurance and all that stuff. This is going to be replaced with our open water swim clinics. Every Monday night, starting May 23rd, so 2 weeks from now, we're going to go down to the lake Monday nights. You do have to register for it. We'll have that registration up on the First Timers page and on our website very, very soon. And it's going to be 30 athletes at a time with a coach, get you in the water, teach you how to swim in the open water, give you some sort of workout or something to do rather than just go swimming. And that'll help you get used to the open water. We also have our open water swim club that we call it, which is Saturdays starting May 21st. So in 2 weeks, we go down every Saturday morning. I'll be there with rental wetsuits from 7 to 10, 7 to 11, and our athletes typically meet around 8 a.m. to go for a swim. This is unstructured in the sense that we don't give you a workout and I'm not getting in the water with you. Our other athletes will be there. They'll be swimming with you, and they're a great group of people. The other first-timers will be there. And if you've never been to Ohio Street Beach on a Saturday morning, it is triathlon central. There's a million triathletes getting in the water down there, and they're all super friendly. They'll be able to help you out and answer some questions. And then swim clinics, ours got changed to those Monday nights. It won't be at 8 p.m. Gillian, do you know what time it is off the top of your head? 6 p.m. on Monday nights for ours. And then the Lifetime Swim Clinics, which is this picture here, we're going to zoom in on a second. Am I allowed to say the dates? Are they finalized? June 28th is the first of 5 open water swim clinics that Lifetime Athletic Events put on. Last year they were kept at 500 athletes each, and they break you into smaller groups. 20 coaches? How many coaches did you have? Something like that. So you fill out a little survey to register for their event. You say, I'm a new swimmer, I'm an advanced swimmer, whatever, and they put you in a similar group, and then there's one of these coaches, another coach from the Chicago triathlon space that'll help you get used to the open water swim. They'll give you some tips and some tricks. It's about an hour-long clinic. And then at Ohio Street Beach, there's Cafe Oliva. We go and have a free beer on Goose Island after that. So you'll notice this really big trend of beer and triathlon. There's some connection there. So that's a way to get in the open water. We highly encourage it. If that Sunday is your first time in the open water, you're getting pulled out. That's what we're talking about, doing your due diligence. You got to get in the open water. It is an entirely different sport than swimming in the pool. Swimming in the pool is a great place to practice form, get comfortable with breathing and things like that, but you got to get in the open water, and here's a bunch of ways to do it. Quick sales plug for us. If you haven't done so now, download the Live Grit application. I'm going to show it on the TV before I let you go into groups. It has our events calendar on there, so all these dates and everything are on there. It has the first timers page on there, so all of the information we disseminate to you over the course of the year will be there. It will be your home base for all your information. The coaches will be there. The stuff Lifetime hands out to you in emails will be there. All of this is going to be there, so don't feel like you got to memorize it. We'll have it to you throughout the course of the year as well. Then, oh, yeah, that's a bunch of people in wetsuits. We all look like we're having fun. Yeah.
Are both the LifeGrid and Lifetime clinics, are those both going to be posted on them?
Yep, we'll have it on our First Timers Program page online, yeah. And then this is one of those Lifetime clinics, so I'm not lying, they do break you into groups and go with the different coaches and things like that. Last one, and I'm going to breeze through this so I can show you the last couple of things. The coaches are going to have a bunch of questions and answers on this. We talk about technique in the swim, how to swim in a pool translates to how to swim in the open water. But then we talk about endurance or yardage outside, brick workouts, swimming and then running, swimming and then biking, some combination of 2 or 3 workouts. And then we talk about emphasis. It's the start of the day. You will never win a triathlon in the water. Fastest swimmers don't always win the triathlon. It's an endurance sport, and we always talk about sighting. The less you zigzag through the swim, the shorter the swim is. You look at like my Garmin times, and I'm just going off for a swim wherever I want. And the coaches will have a lot of better answers for you on this. Gillian and Rashawn are our 2 resident swim experts on staff, so we can also help you with the questions, but the coaches here will have a lot of information for you as well. And that's the presentation. I'm going to show you guys 2 things real quick, if I can. Any questions while I try and make technology work again? None. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Semi.
Semi, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Semi, perfect.
Can we download this presentation?
I will have it posted online. Yeah, we're going to try and get it on YouTube or something like that, so you'll have all of it. Come on, technology. Awesome.
Oh, crap, I forgot to say I'm Misha, and did anybody call dibs on the last letter?
No, you can have it. There's plenty left in the keg. So real quick, this is our LiveGrid app. It's got a lot of great information on it. We have our online store in here where you can shop and get some special deals. We have our loyalty point system in here. Every time you shop or come to one of our events or a clinic or something, you get some points. You can redeem those for free stuff or gift cards down the road. Most importantly, this is what everybody likes, the events page. This is a calendar of all of our events that you can see we do. This is for the store, so this is LiveGrid events that we do. What you guys are much more concerned about is this guy right here, the First Timers Program. This is a web page, livegrid.com/first-timers. That first timers is one word. This is your home for all your information. We have the introduction to the program, registration. A lot of you probably clicked here to come to this event. Charlie wants to Snapchat me right now. All 6 clinics, they are filling up. They're capped at 75 seats, so if you haven't done so, you can go in and if you enjoyed our presentation today, register for the other ones. This guy here on a website looks a lot better than on the cell phone. This is your calendar. Nobody else sees this calendar except for first timers. It's not published on our website outside of this page. So any of the clinics that we do just for you guys is here. Anything that Lifetime does just for you is on this calendar. It's just a Google calendar, so you can download it or follow it at any point along the way. The training programs that Lifetime Fitness has given you is linked up here as well. The newsletters that we've sent out, we don't link Lifetime's newsletters. They have some really good newsletters, and I recommend digging through your inbox and finding them, but we don't have them on this site. And then this is exactly what you get with the full program that you guys signed up for, so everything that we offer here. So the app is a great tool to have, and like I said, it's got that first-timer specific tab, amongst other things. We have our videos. We had some photos last year. This button here at the bottom is great. If you click this anywhere between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., you will get one of us. Our computers all ring here in the store, and we'll start answering questions. Our website's got the same thing as well. Just go to livegrid.com. You can find all of our information and all of our stuff as well. So, any big questions on the presentation, guys? I'm gonna open you up to the masses. Yeah, go ahead.
Joe, I just got one. On the calendar for the first time, that's where both of the swim clinics are going to be at?
Yeah. On that calendar, we have both of them. So we'd have to skip ahead to late June, but yeah, they'll both be on there. And once these guys open up registration for their clinics, which is going to be late May at some point, they'll open up their registration. You'll be able to see them on here, and I have to actually go put ours on here, and I'll get that done soon. So if we go to June 28th, so there they are. There's the Lifetime Swim Clinic. Our fun run's also Tuesdays at 6 if you ever want to come out running with us. And it's every other Tuesday, their Lifetime Swim Clinic. And as soon as they get the registration up, I'll post the links to that as well.
What times do they run Mondays?
Ours are on Mondays. Our clinics are on Mondays. And they're offset. So ours will be, here's a Lifetime Swim this Tuesday. We'll have a swim this Monday at 6. And vice versa all throughout the summer. So theirs start a little bit later. Again, they have 5. I think our count's going to be something like 11 of those open water clinics. So, yeah.
I'm Brian. Is there a cost associated with the clinics?
They're going to add, yours is free. Lifetime's is free. They ask for a charitable donation if you want. And ours is...
I believe they're $25.
Ours,
or you can buy all 7 of them.
yeah, you can buy like a whole package of ours or $25 per. Ours, again, will be 30 athletes versus Lifetime's, which will be a little bit bigger and then split you into groups. So... real quick before I let you guys go, we do everything swim, bike, run here in the store. I didn't put this because this is the swim presentation. We have weekly fun runs Tuesday night at 6. We do a weekly fun, or a monthly fun 5K the second or third Saturday. I think it's the third Saturday of every month here in the neighborhood. We do Saturday morning group rides, 8 a.m. We have a 40-mile route and an 8 to 20-mile route. That one, they debate on how far they want to go. And they go to a coffee shop and have a lot of fun. I think the 5 women did it this last week and decided on 18 miles was their route. The 40-mile route, a little bit longer. We have debate too, but most people want to go the full 40, so we lose that debate. So come out on a group ride with us Sunday mornings at 8, Tuesday nights at 6 for that fun run. Saturday mornings starting May 21st will be our fun open water swims, just a group of athletes going. We partnered with Grit Endurance, our training company. We offer 16 and 12-week distance training programs for the triathlon. We have an 8 CompuTrainer indoor cycling studio. We'll have those open water swim clinics. We offer everything in the way of training. Again, if you go to livegrit.com, under swim, bike, run, and try, you'll see the training tabs for all of those. I'm now going to split you guys in half. I hope the presentation was helpful. I'll try and get it online for you guys in the next couple of days. Everybody from that last row of seats back, if you guys want to follow Gillian and them over to the other side, ask some of the gear questions. We'll give you guys like 10 minutes on each side and then switch you. And if at any point you have any questions, just find somebody who looks like they know what's going on. Thanks, guys.